Hey, it's Adrian, and today I'm pretty excited. Finally, after over a year of trying to find a PS5, I finally got one. So I did end up buying the Horizon Forbidden West bundle. That's all I could find online on Walmart. But let me go ahead and unbox it. Alright, so this bundle came with the PlayStation 5 console controller, and this is the disc version, which I prefer over the digital version. It came with the Cosmic Red controller and the Horizon Forbidden West game, of course. But let me go into what comes in the accessories. So this is the new controller. Looks really nice, feels really good in the hand. It actually doesn't feel too much bigger than the current one. So there's also a power cable, and this is a charging cable for the controller. So it's a Type-C end with a Type-A connector at the other end. Some manuals. The base for the PlayStation, so this can be used vertically or horizontally. And lastly, an high-speed HDMI 2.1 cable. So be sure to use this cable to get the best performance on your TV or gaming monitor. So if you get the Horizon Forbidden West bundle, this is what you'll get. So the disc version of the PlayStation, everything that comes with that, a Cosmic Red controller, that may change depending where you are, and the game. All right, taking a closer look at the console, so you can see this thing is pretty massive. It's about 15 inches high, 10 inches wide, and about 4 inches thick or 4 inches deep. And in terms of the PlayStation 4, which is what I'm coming from, you can see it's a pretty big size difference. Now, if you look at these from the top, this is not that big from the top. And if you look at this one, you can see it's like a giant compared to the PS4. The old PlayStation, that comes in at about 6 and 6.5 ounces. And the PlayStation 5, that comes in just over 9 pounds, so almost a full 3 pound difference. Taking a closer look at the design, so you can see as I rotate the PlayStation, there's not too much of a glare because that is a matte type of finish, not shiny. And at the very top, you can see there's the PlayStation logo, and if I kind of angle it, you can see that there's a cutout there, so the black that's at the bottom there, it pops out, contrasts really nicely with the white actually. Now looking at the front of the unit, so the front has a Type-A charging port. There's also a Type-C charging port there. Now, since this is the disc version, there's an eject button there and the power button down there, of course. And then you have the disc tray on the side. All right, taking a look at the back of the unit, so you can see you have the power port at the bottom there, HDMI port, RJ45 port to hardwire it, which I highly recommend, and then 2 Type-A ports right there. And then right at the very top, there's a little cutout there, and that's for like a Kensington lock, so you can lock it securely in place. If I angle it at a certain way, you can see the heat pipes in the back there behind this plastic grill here, so that's going to help with all the heat dissipation. Bottom of the unit has this little removable piece of plastic here, and that comes out so that you could thread in a screw, and that's if you want to use this base here. You can see there's that hole that would align with that. And then of course you have these little slots to let heat out for heat dissipation. And since this is the disc version, there's a little imprint here that says Ultra HD Blu-ray. At the top of the unit is just plain, it's just this type of glossy plastic, nothing to write home about. And then on the other side of it, just again, that same matte finish. So I don't know how well this is coming across on camera, but you could see on the inside of the console, there's the Sony logo there, and you can see it's adorned by a bunch of little triangles, X's, circles, squares, like you would find on the PlayStation controller. So that's a pretty cool detail and cool touch that they've added to it. All right, so taking a look at the PlayStation 5 controller, right out of the gate, this feels good in the hand. Like for my first time really holding it and using it, this feels really good. And I was actually a bit worried about the size of this coming from the PlayStation 4. When I saw the photos, it did look significantly bigger. But now that I'm holding it in my hand, it's very manageable. It doesn't feel too big or unmanageable at all. So again, this is the PlayStation 4 controller, and you can see if I kind of overlay them on top, the grips at the bottom here do extend just a bit more slightly, but it's nothing crazy where it's going to feel foreign to you. And taking a look side by side, if I kind of line up the triggers, you can see you know, it does extend a bit more towards the bottom. Otherwise, it feels really good in the hand. Actually, when I hold this now, this actually doesn't feel that great anymore, and I'm actually pretty surprised at how quickly I'm taking to the feel of this in the hand. In terms of the weight difference between the PlayStation 5 and 4, so the PlayStation 5 controller, 279 grams, and the PlayStation 4 controller, 214 grams, 15 grams, give or take. I can see there's a speaker at the front there, the PlayStation logo, and that is depressible. You can see it's flashing right now. Now there is a microphone icon right there, and then a little input for the mic. And if you press and hold down on the microphone, that does mute the headset. And if you have the PlayStation connected to your TV, it'll mute that too. At the bottom, you have a standard 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and then looks like metal contacts to charge if you're going to be charging with a dock. At the top of it, you have a Type-C port, so that's where you would use the included cable. And that's all I could see on the controller. Now, on the back of the controller here, I do see, I'm assuming that would be the reset hole. And then there's another port there. Not sure what that is for. If you know, leave it in the comments for me. Looking at the buttons, I really like how they did the design on the buttons actually. It looks like they have the designs printed, and then you have this kind of like glossy, clear plastic on top of it. It actually looks pretty nice. Again, as you'd expect with any type of PlayStation controller, pretty good feedback as soon as you press it. The triggers at the back, these also feel good, and these are supposed to be adaptive so that they can vary the intensity depending on the game you're playing and the actions you're doing. Can't wait to try that out. The joysticks feel good. You know, if you're coming from any PlayStation controller, they're going to feel natural to you. They are sufficiently textured, so they do feel pretty grippy. And if I look at the PlayStation 4 controllers, the joysticks on that, these feel much more grippy than the PlayStation 4 joysticks. D-pad, also very good. They have that same type of design printed at the bottom. And then you have your share play menu buttons. And then of course the touchpad here, which acts as a button and for touch inputs. All right, so I don't want to spend a lot of time since it's the exact same controller, just a different color. So this is the Cosmic Red. I wasn't a big fan of it when I saw the photo online, but now that I have it in hand, the color is much better than it looked online, and it does contrast nicely with the black. So if you're interested in the Cosmic Red, this is what that looks like. Now I've seen people going off about all the little details on the controller, and I can confirm there are textures on the back of it, and they're in the shape of the square, X, triangle, and circle. Super cool. If I take a look at the red controller, you can actually see those little textures better and clearer than against the white. So one thing I want to point out on the controller, there's actually a mute button. So if you press and hold it down, you can see it's cut the audio to the speakers and even to the microphone. So if you're getting a phone call or something, you can take care of that, and then when you're done, you just press it once and you're back in business. Really nice looking controller, but more importantly, really comfortable to hold, great ergonomics, doesn't feel too heavy. Definitely a huge step up from the PlayStation 4 controller. Now, if you're curious about the mounting option, so you can see when it's on the side, there's a lot of wobble. So you definitely need to use the supplied stand for that. So you can see if you look at this closely, there's two little areas here that hook. So you just put it on the side and then push that down till it catches, and then you just drop it on the side. And you can see now that it's there, there's not really any wobble. Now if you want to put the PlayStation vertically, you'll have to use this supplied stand. So what you would do is just rotate this plastic piece here. There's a screw there, and you would thread that screw through this hole here, pop out this plastic piece that's right there, and then thread it right through here into there. All right, here's what it looks like if you set it up vertically. So if I kind of put some pressure, you can see it's not really going to drop over or fall over. It is such a heavy unit that it's pretty well balanced. Now, I prefer having it vertical just because I have easy access to the disk drive, and I notice when you clip on the base at the side of it, the disk drive is at the bottom, which, you know, makes it a bit harder to get access to. So I think vertical is the way to go if you're gonna use the base. All right, I'm gonna turn the PlayStation 5 on for the first time. All right, so one really neat thing that I want to point out is anytime you press the PlayStation button in the middle there, you can see there's like a bottom menu there. And that's actually pretty handy because when you go here, you have a switcher. So if you had a bunch of games open, you could just switch between games. You have a notification, so you can just scroll through if you ever missed like a pop-up notification, you wanted to know what that was. Then you also have like what your friends are doing, so you can see who's online, what they're doing. And you also have this area where you could see all the current like downloads or uploads. So if you're ever playing and then like your game starts getting laggy, this would be a good place to check to make sure no games are being updated while you're playing. So I really like that they have this at the bottom here. You could see when you go into audio, there's a lot of stuff like just really quickly that you can modify very easily without going into the main system settings. Same with the mic, you can mute it, adjust the mic level, and you don't have to go all the way into the settings. You could check your battery life and, you know, set your status to on, off, busy, whatever, or even log out. So it's a pretty cool feature having that, and all it is just a quick press. You don't even have to hold it down. And you have that quick little dock at the bottom there, really cool. Okay, so I've set up the PlayStation and everything is ready to go now. So I've signed into my PlayStation account, and if I go right to the settings and storage, so I forgot to mention, but the PlayStation, I believe it comes with 865 gigabytes, but you could see here in terms of the console storage, 667 gigabytes are available to you. Mine shows 553 only because I'm copying the Horizon Forbidden West right now. So I was playing around with this Astro's Playroom, and I just want to show some of it right now because it does a pretty good job of highlighting some stuff on the controller. So you can probably hear that music. It's coming from the controller and it's getting picked up on my microphone that I'm wearing. So the sound coming out of the controller is pretty clear. So if I go to controller demo, and you can hear as I cycle through, there's a vibration and the sound is pretty sharp. It sounds good. So right now, here's a demo of the adaptive triggers on here. So the L2 and R2, when you press them, there's actually a bit of resistance before they come all the way down. And that's pretty cool because in games, depending on the action you're taking, it takes, you know, a different amount of effort to actually press that down. So it's a pretty cool feature instead of just like a standard pressure every time. Now the touchpad, you can see that's very responsive. Like if I make a triangle or a square, circle, it's pretty accurate. So while those things are dropping, it's actually rumbling here. And as you rock the controller side to side, it feels like the vibration is moving from, you know, right to left. So it's a pretty realistic type of feeling. And of course, there's a microphone. All right, in terms of gameplay, everything loads really quickly. Like the loading screens are really fast, and it gives you the option to press a button to continue, probably because it's loading so fast. There's no hiccups, no glitches, nothing like that. Game just runs fluid, and the PlayStation is not loud at all. I haven't heard the fans kick in high or anything like that. So far, pretty good. All right, so I just want to demo the backwards compatibility. So you can see this is a PlayStation 4 game, and I've already tested this and it works, but I just want to demo it. So I'm just going to pop the disc in, and then I'll go to play game. You can see it's downloading some updates. I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to start without updating. And you can see it launches right into the game, and I can just go into the campaign. I can start a game and everything's good. So backwards compatibility, no issues. All right, so coming from the PlayStation 4, this is a big update, like in terms of the speed, like how quickly things load. It's much quieter. The controller is much better to hold, way more comfortable. The vibration, haptics, everything is just all around a way better experience coming from the PlayStation 4. So if you're thinking about getting a PlayStation 5, if you can find one, mind you, I'd say definitely go for it. Now, I am going to be making like a follow-up video with some quick tips and settings that you should change on your PS5 to get the most out of it. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.